Hello, time for another Man in Gray book review. Today's book is Sandwich, A Global History by B. Wilson, published in 2010 by Reaction Books. It's 148 pages. The sandwich is one of the most popular and most ubiquitous foods throughout the world, and it's easy to see why. Sandwiches are easy to prepare, they're inexpensive to make or buy, and they're one of the most convenient foods to consume. You can eat a sandwich while you're sitting at your desk working, while you're driving in a car, while you're walking along a street corner, or you can eat them while you're sitting down at a formal meal. It's an incredibly versatile food. Americans alone eat some 45 billion sandwiches every year. That's twice as many sandwiches as they do as Americans eat hamburgers. So it's incredibly successful, and not just in the United States, North America, and Europe. Sandwiches have spread throughout the world. Almost every culture now eats a sandwich of some type, as this book goes through the various countries and various ethnic types of sandwiches. One of the most interesting chapters is the one about the supposed origin of the term sandwich. There's a famous but debunked story that the sandwich is invented by John Montagu, the fourth Earl of Sandwich of England, in the late 1700s. And the commonly told story is that the Earl of Sandwich was a compulsive gambler, and at one late night dice session, he was hungry, but he didn't want to stop throwing dice because he was on a winning streak, and so he called for a slice of roast beef between two slices of bread so he could hold the sandwich in one hand and roll the dice with the other. It's a great story, but there's absolutely no evidence that it's true. John Montagu, there's no evidence that he was a compulsive gambler. He was actually a high-ranking cabinet minister in the British government, so he certainly didn't have time to stay up all night gambling. So why did the Earl Sandwich why did his name become associated with bread and meat? And that's the question that really has been lost to the mist of time. The book goes through several theories. The chapter goes through several theories about how the Earl of Sandwich's name became associated with sandwiches, but nobody really knows for sure. There are chapters in here on various types of sandwiches. It talks about how the British came up with the cucumber sandwich and the Americans developed the club sandwich. It also talks about how sandwiches are cut. Some people prefer sandwiches cut diagonally and others straight across. And it goes through some of the advantages of each type of cut. And it talks about the increasing popularity of sandwiches from other countries, especially Vietnam. Vietnamese sandwiches are becoming increasingly popular. So if you are interested in the history of sandwiches, this is certainly an ideal book to read. And there's a lot of nice illustrations through the book, almost 100 of them. Most of them are in color. Here's a picture of a roast beef and bread sandwiches, probably very similar to what the Earl of Sandwich would have eaten if that story was true. There's another couple of photographs here. This is one of a Canadian stewardess showing off a tray of sandwiches that were served as airline food. And over here we have a photograph from World War I of some wounded soldiers being fed sandwiches. Sandwiches very important in military because, again, of their ease of transport and ease of eating in combat situations. And here is a Japanese bento box containing sandwiches. Sandwiches are ideal for bento boxes because of their size and portability. And one of the most fun chapters, I think, is at the very end. There's an appendix listing 50 famous sandwiches and tells briefly in a paragraph or two about their history. It talks about the BLT, the bacon, lettuce, and tomato, caviar sandwiches, the club sandwich, and the Elvis sandwich, which is a sandwich that Elvis Presley loved to eat, which was peanut butter, mashed fried bananas on two slices of bread. It also talks about the Dagwood sandwich, made famous by the comic strip, lobster sandwiches, po' boy sandwiches, and sloppy joes. So a real survey of some famous sandwiches. And there's also a list of recipes of historical sandwiches, how sandwiches were made in the 19th century. So if you're interested in food, if you're a foodie and you're interested in sandwiches, this is a fun book, rather short, but surprisingly comprehensive about the history of sandwiches. The book is Sandwich, A Global History. The author is B. Wilson. This has been another Man in Gray book review. Thanks for watching.